Most people struggle with IELTS speaking, not because their English is bad, but because they've never practiced with the pressure of a real human looking at them. I'm Bailey, and today, I'm your examiner. We'll do speaking parts 1, 2, and 3. I'll ask, you speak, and then I'll give you the Band 9 breakdown. Try for yourself first, then click the link in the description to download the IELTS Point of View Practice Bundle. It contains the Band 9 answer bank with the exact scripts and vocabulary we're using today. Ready? Deep breath. Let's begin. Can you tell me your full name, please? And can I see your identification? Great. Now, let's talk about your hometown. Where exactly is it located? And what do you find the most interesting part of living there? Okay, stop. For part 1, keep it snappy. Don't just say it's a big city, say it's a sprawling metropolis located in the heart of Amsterdam. That is Band 9 vocabulary. If you struggle to find those words, you're lacking a partner to bounce ideas off of. In part 1, the examiner is testing your ability to expand on personal topics without hesitation. Never give a one-sentence answer. Instead, use this formula for every answer. A is for answer. You should have a direct, clear response. Try to use synonyms from the question. R is for reason. Use one sentence to explain why you feel that way. E is for example or extra. Use one descriptive detail to round it out. Say the examiner asks you if your hometown is a good place to live. First, you would want to provide an answer to the question. For example, here we could have said, without a doubt. Next, you want to give a reason. It offers the perfect balance of nature and urban life. Finally, you give an example or extra information. There are several sprawling parks just a stone's throw from the city center. Now look at the living situation example. Be sure to also use topic-specific adjectives like cramped, spacious, contemporary, or rustic. Okay, let's try one just like you would on test day. Remember, I am your examiner. Do you often use apps on your phone? What kind of apps are most popular in your country? Okay, let's analyze that. A Band 6 student would say, yes, I use apps a lot. I like Instagram and WhatsApp because they're good. But that is not going to help your score. It's just too simple. Look at the Band 9 version. Here you would say, absolutely. I'd say I'm somewhat of a tech enthusiast, so my phone is cluttered with everything from productivity tools to social media platforms. I find them indispensable for staying organized. Paraphrasing. Instead of saying I use apps, say my phone is cluttered with. Lexical resource. Words like indispensable and tech enthusiast. Fluency. No ums or uhs because you used a filler opener. You said, I'd say I'm somewhat of a. The reason why the Band 9 answer felt hard is that you haven't automated your English. If you're finding the A.R.E formula helpful, drop a comment with your target score. We would love to hear how you're doing or what topic you'd like us to review next. Let's move on to part 2, the long turn. Here you have 1 minute to prepare, and you can make notes if you wish. Your 1 minute starts now. All right, remember, I'll stop you at the 2-minute mark. Please start speaking now. Thank you. That's the 2 minutes. Remember, part 2 is about storytelling. So if you ran out of things to say at 90 seconds, you didn't use the PPF method, past, present, and future. For past, take about 45 seconds to set the scene. Talk about your life before the move. Present should also be about 45 seconds. Here, you should talk about the move itself. Use some sensory details like smells or sounds. Talk about the future for about 30 seconds. Here you can talk about how it changed you or if you would do it again. By breaking your 2 minutes into these 3 buckets, you aren't just describing a move, you're telling a story. This naturally leads to better grammar because you're forced to use different tenses. Download the free Band 9 Answer Bank PDF in the description for more details about the PPF method. Prior to the relocation, I had been living in the same cramped 1-bedroom apartment in the heart of the city for nearly a decade. While I loved the convenience of the location, the constant noise and lack of space were becoming quite draining. I had reached a point where I felt I was outgrowing my surroundings, and I desperately needed a change of pace. I spent months searching for the perfect spot, feeling a strange mix of nostalgia for my old neighborhood and a growing hunger for something new. The actual moving day was a total whirlwind. I have to admit I found the transition quite daunting, especially the logistical nightmare of packing up 10 years of my life into cardboard boxes. However, The moment I unlocked my door to my new home, a quiet, light-filled townhouse on the outskirts, I knew I'd made the right choice. The first thing that struck me was the sheer tranquility of the area. Instead of sirens, I could hear birdsong. It felt incredibly spacious and contemporary, and I remember feeling an immediate sense of relief as I began to unpack. In retrospect, it was a pivotal moment for me. It wasn't just about moving furniture, it was about reclaiming my mental clarity. Living in a more peaceful environment has fundamentally shifted my productivity and my general outlook on life. Looking ahead, I plan to stay here for the foreseeable future, as this house has truly become my sanctuary. It taught me that sometimes you have to leave your comfort zone to find where you truly belong. Listen to these Band 9 phrases that I'd use for this topic. Things like prior to the relocation, I found the transition quite daunting, and in retrospect, it was a pivotal moment. The 2-minute challenge is absolutely a test of stamina. Part 3 is the two-way discussion. Remember, there are no more simple questions. These are why and how questions. Let's get started. We've been discussing homes. Let's consider the impact of architecture on a community. Do you believe that the design of buildings can actually influence the happiness of the people living in them? Some people argue that historical buildings should be demolished to make way for modern, high-density housing. To what extent do you agree with this view? In the future, do you think people will value the location of their home more or less than they do today, given the rise of remote work? Thank you. So, how did that go? If you talked about your house or your friend, you made a mistake. Part 3 is abstract. You need the global to local method, which is available for free using the link in the description. This is the logic I used as a marker to separate a Band 7 from a Band 9. Start big. On a macro level, many urban planners argue, then move to the effect. This results in a sense of social isolation. Finally, use a general example. Take, for instance, the brutalist architecture of the 1960s. This shows the examiner that you can handle complex academic English. Let's look at a Band 9 example response for each question. Question 1. Do you believe that the design of buildings can actually influence the happiness of people living in them? Let's look at the global to local strategy here. Absolutely. On a macro level, urban planners and psychologists frequently contend that the built environment plays a pivotal role in the collective mental well-being of a society. The effect is that when architecture prioritizes high density, gray blocks over aesthetics or natural light, it often results in a profound sense of social isolation and urban decay. Take, for instance, many of the brutalist housing projects from the mid-20th century. They are now being redesigned to include green spaces and communal areas specifically to combat the psychological toll that sterile environments take on the residents. Question 2. Some people argue that historical buildings should be demolished to make way for modern, high-density housing. To what extent do you agree with this view? The strategy here is to ensure that you use a balanced viewpoint. Here, a Band 9 response would be, that's a multifaceted issue. On the one hand, proponents of demolition argue that modernizing city centers is an economic necessity to solve the housing crisis in sprawling metropolises. They believe high-density apartments are more practical than preserving dilapidated structures. Conversely, there's a strong argument that historical landmarks are the cultural bedrock of a community, providing a sense of identity that glass and steel skyscrapers simply cannot replicate. Personally, I'm inclined to agree that a hybrid approach, repurposing historical facades while modernizing the interiors, is the most sustainable way to preserve heritage without sacrificing progress. Now let's look at question 3. In the future, do you think people will value the location of their home more or less than they do today, given the rise of remote work? The strategy to use here is speculation. A Band 9 response would be something like, it's highly conceivable that in the foreseeable future, the traditional premium placed on city center locations will steadily diminish. Given the surge in telecommuting, many professionals are no longer tied to a physical office, which makes a relocation to rural or coastal areas much more attractive. One can envision a future where location is defined by the quality of high-speed infrastructure and proximity to nature, rather than a short commute to a central business district. Therefore, it's predictable that in the real estate market, we'll see a significant shift in demand towards the outskirts of major cities. Now look at this cheat sheet. These aren't just fancy words, they're signposts. They tell the examiner exactly where your logic is going. If you can't use these comfortably, you're probably not ready for a Band 8. Watch this video again, and this time, during the simulation, use the global to local method and these signposts. Congratulations! You now have the formulas, the vocabulary, and the simulation. Now you need the feedback. Sign up to e2language.com today and use our speaking mock test to get a diagnostic report from ex-examiners. You can book your session at the time that's most convenient for you. Let's turn this practice into a real Band 9. I'll see you over at E2.